jump to the board and find out what's the selection. It is Hunter versus Warlock. The Zoo will be the leadoff for Reynad, and Tides will have to rely on his Hunter.
So the only other thing to consider is that you do like Zoo is strong versus two of the decks in his lineup. So just based purely on statistics, I mean, if you had no idea what your opponent was going to choose, it makes a lot of sense to do it this way because it's just you have a 2/3 chance to hit a favorable matchup.
Certainly, I think so. Unleash the Hounds is one of those cards that allows you to climb back and fight against Zoo appropriately as well. So as much as it might be a tougher matchup, you do have answers.
Yeah, Unleash the Hounds is one of them too. You need to be drawing Unleash the Hounds, and you ideally want to be drawing Starving Buzzard with it, and Explosive Trap also helps. The only thing that matters now is that Explosive Trap can help activate your opponent's eggs.
Well,
Wow!
well then.
And picks a Timberwolf.
Huh.
That's a spicy meatball. Wow. That's a good hand. Think of your Tides.
That is probably the best you can expect to fight Zoo. You have the card draw, you have the way to buff, you have a good leadoff card to see if maybe it draws and bolster your ranks, and you even have Direwolf Alpha to pick good trades, assuming you need more than a Timberwolf.
Yep.
My gosh.
Is this little 1/1 going to trick Reynad into attacking his face again? Remember, we saw him not attack a Timberwolf because he had a 7-power minion. And rightfully so, it was 7 damage. Oh my gosh, now Direwolf Alpha's going to get value.
Direwolf Alpha is going to get sick value. This web spinner, let's see what he gets off of it. A second Timberwolf. That's not so bad.
It's really not right now.
My goodness. Well, this is going to be an interesting develop. I don't know how it's actually going to pan out, because Zoo is still really explosive, but I feel like Tides has almost all the answers that he would hope to have, at least for one board clear.
He's going to take a little bit of damage, but in the process, he's going to be able to clear. But something there's a lot of merit, I think, to kill commanding the 2/1 here. To put more
build
stuff on
up
your
more?
board. Yeah.
Well, he chooses to kill command the 3/2, opt to take less damage. Reynad draws into his Direwolf Alpha, kind of has to plan out how he wants to utilize his resources while being able to execute a Doomguard in the coming turns.
Yeah, I don't know if you... I don't think you play Shadowed Sun Cleric here.
So many possibilities.
Care to elaborate?
Well, I want a life tap for sure. And I can develop my board basically just as much by playing the Direwolf Alpha. And this also keeps me from getting Explosive Trapped. Like, Direwolf Alpha is going to get Explosive Trapped, and that's fine, but now you're losing one of your ways to protect it. He's actually just going to extend to the board. This is fine also because this is sort of telltale that he wants to get the Doomguard active as quickly as possible. So I expect him to play whatever he draws next turn as well. So two different directions to go. Like life tapping, because one of the ways that Warlock loses in this matchup is when it just runs out of cards. So like, if Tides can take a few points of damage and then weather the storm with something like an Unleash combo, and then if Reynad's out of gas after that, Tides is able to kind of sit back and start playing powerful minions and recapture control of the game. And
this is another telegraph to Tides, by the way, now that he used his Huffer directly into the Haunted Creeper that was buffed. Reynad has to be really afraid of the combo, but it's not like he has a choice at the moment.
Well, it's really showing that it's one of two things. Either number one, I have Unleash and I'm going to unleash you, or number two, I really need to draw Unleash the Hounds. So please, dear God, let it happen. And this is the kind of spot that Reynad falls into where I don't think he has an option other than to extend in the board. It's a lot of damage coming through.
He's going to put him at 12, so it's not even... He could clear the board, but still the fact is Tide still has to address what's on it. And he's going to use his Unleash immediately, which puts it at a full board. And interestingly enough, he has to kill something off before he drops a Timberwolf. But he's going to be drawing a full hand.
Oh my gosh, he even gets Hunter's Mark to follow up on the Doomguard too.
Wow, Tide's not skipping a beat. Does not want to get cut by the rope whatsoever.
Yep. He already knows how his attack's going to go. All 6 minions and all 6 of your minions. So it doesn't really matter the order that much. And my goodness, look at that hand. He's actually going to burn a card next turn, and I don't even think it matters. He's got 10 in the grip versus the opponent's 1. He's got an answer for the Doomguard. This is the kind of spot where you really don't want to be in, but it's... Honestly, this might have even been unavoidable if you really want to go back and look at how the turns were going to develop. Even if Reynad didn't extend into the board, your opponent's still sweeping your board and drawing 3 or 4 cards. So what's the difference between 4 cards and 6 cards? The difference is a couple cards in your grip. So his thought process was that even if I get swept, I'm not going to recover anyway, so I have to just extend and hope Doomguard can close it.
Well, so you're going to see... Oh, well, Stone Post board does end up getting burned. Reynad does get that Doomguard 100 marked immediately, but he is also putting his opponent at 7 health, so there is a combination of draws that could end. But this is where cards like Houndmaster also does a lot of heavy lifting in the matchup.
Yep. Tides really got to consider how he plays this order. Does he want a Houndmaster this turn? I think that's a major question he's asking himself.
I think so.
Yep.
And he has second Houndmaster, so there's a way for him to kind of continue on.
And now he's actually counting whether or not the Timberwolf is worth more than the Buzzard is, because he already has so many cards. Does he even need to draw more cards?
Is that a mistake from Tides?
I don't know.
He didn't attack with the Buzzard before he attacked with the Timberwolf, so he missed 1 damage.
Oh, is that... Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yep. So he missed 1 damage in that respect. Reynad draws the Ruby next, so he whiffs. I believe there is a combination of draws that can help him win if he, like, gets Soulfire twice. I don't think he used the Soulfire. If he's able to kind of burst through and somehow... Nope, I don't think he's bursting through anymore. Well, so there is ways out of it, but...
He's going to need running Soulfires here, I think, to end this game. I don't think there's any other way. Maybe, I guess, Hellfire into Soulfire? I don't think he's running Hellfire, though.
That'd be crazy. Hellfire into Soulfire. Well, that's 1.
Oh, gosh.
He's not even going to wait for it, because he might tap into something like Doomguard. I mean, do you play a Direwolf Alpha? Does it have an impact?
Direwolf Alpha has no impact on this game. You have to draw second Soulfire right here, or you lose the game.
Well, you never know. Maybe he's able to pick something up right here with the second tap.
Oh, jeez.
18 cards left. What is the
18
probability?
to 1.
Oh,
not quite today.
Well, you know, he got halfway there, which is already pretty decent odds to even top pick the Soulfire. He was not even that far into his deck the best poison to killing Hunter. It's funny how that works out sometimes. So we're going to find out what happens in game number 2. So let's jump into the board and find out what happens.
Yeah, I like Warrior here.
Okay. Opening hands. Gets a Savannah Highmane. How important is that to keep? Or do you keep it at all?
I would never mulligan Savannah Highmane in this matchup. Ever. It's like the number 1. I don't understand that at all. Like, it's like the most important card in the matchup. It's like I would just keep 2 of them if I had them. The way you win this game is you just jam down 2 Savannah Highmanes and hope that your opponent has to expend so much removal on them or on your other stuff that they just don't have all the removal for Savannah Highmane. I don't really understand it. Like this is a matchup that I have played a lot, and Savannah Highmane it's so critically important to be dropping on turn 6. You mulligan every card for Savannah Highmane, and you keep all your Savannah Highmanes. Like, I think you're even supposed to mulligan tracking here.
For Savannah Highmane?
Well, you can tracking for Savannah Highmane, but like you just want more chances at Savannah Highmane, and then if you happen to draw trackings, you're not really like happy to use tracking in this matchup until you're ready to finish your opponent is the thing. Because if you clip some of your cards that you need in the matchup, it ends up being really bad. You just want to save it and dig for it at the end.
That's fair. I think this is a pretty decent start for both these guys. They got answers, and they got a lot of tools. Tides does have this web spinner start to kind of line things up and see where they can go. Hopefully he picks up an earlier drop. That's kind of what web spinner does. And maybe it might be useless, but maybe it might be epic. We never know.
This is a bad news spot, by the way, is when Armorsmith can just keep chipping away at all these minions. And I think the last one it's going to end up attacking is web spinner.
I like Fiery War Axe over the Ghoul. Reynad did do this thing, I think, in a previous series. I believe it was his first one against Striker, where he went for Ghoul over the Fiery War Axe when he tried to address a Haunted Creeper. You need to be able to do that in the right order, so that way, when it procs, you're able to kind of take out these 1/1s. So it's something that he kind of learned. I remember him specifically stating that he needed to do that better.
Yeah, sequencing is really important in this matchup. You don't want to be playing a Ghoul outside of when you need to. A really good chance to grab tempo here with Fiery War Axe.
All right. Gonna deny him the ability to Houndmaster the following turn. Let's see what card Tides gets. It's a Kodo. Whoa.
1 mana off.
Awesome. I mean, it's
How
going to be
important is it?
useful in this matchup for sure.
I don't know how many traps he has in his deck, so that's something to consider. Like, is this his only bow? Does he have more traps? How important is it to just be using this bow charge here?
Yeah, how many bows does he even plays? This is one bow. Well, he does have Animal Companion available to him right here.
I think with Animal Companion, it really kind of makes your it spells out your decision for you.
Okay.
Grab some
It's a
Misha, maybe?
Leok.
Leok actually doesn't feel that bad here. It's a pretty inconvenient minion to kill.
Sure, sure.
I wonder if Misha would have prevented him from attacking with the fire. I'm sorry, with the earth and blah, with the longbow or not. Eagle horn bow. I don't even know the name of this card anymore. Eagle horn bow.
They all kind
Like,
of
if he
bleed
goes-
between the lines after a certain point, man. I totally get your vibe.
If he makes Misha there, does he attack with the eagle horn bow? Because he attacks with whether he makes Huffer or whether he makes. Actually, if he makes Huffer, does he attack it with Huffer instead and keep his eagle horn bow?
Yeah, I think so. If it's Huffer for sure. You don't. I mean, you can if you leave up the Acolyte, you make yourself vulnerable to some shenanigans like Whirlwind, into like Cruel Taskmaster, trade, draw 3 cards, etc. All right, Reynad picks up Sylvanas, by the way, at the top, and he's contemplating how he can combine maybe Fiery War Axe with the Ghoul. And of course, we know that the follow-up could be the Kodo. Most likely will be the Kodo, unless Tides pick up something better. Huh, he's going to wait on the charge and see what he can use it appropriately, what his opponent's going to respond.
Yeah, I think waiting here is better. There's just no reason. Like, if you attack, it kind of results in the same thing. Except you've just preemptively attacked. You give your opponent a little bit more information about what they should be doing.
All right, speaking of what they should be doing, Tides doesn't have the cleanest play. The Kodo does kill his own token off. And opens himself up to just killing off his Leok.
Yeah. I don't know if you have another play, though.
I think Haunted Creeper is too weak, especially if you put it onto the board with an Undead Ghoul. You're asking for your Haunted Creeper to get 0 value. I think it's a decision you kind of have to just live with, though. The alternative is also to not take damage on your Kodo, and then... Well, I guess he's just going to go for it.
Yeah, I think you have to Kodo here. You have to just get pressure on the board. Like, you're not going to win if by just playing a long game, especially with this kind of hand.
Yeah, I'm definitely inclined to agree. Sludge Belcher, again, a card that's really stable for Control Warrior to continue to annoy their opponents and stall out for as long as possible. Definitely an MVP sleeper card of this entire tournament.
That's a pretty big draw.
I don't see anything else, really. Santa Hymane's really good, but he's going to pass on it.
Okay, so he's going to use Kill Command instead.
Lotev. That's also kind of appealing, but Kill Command, he kind of committed to that play earlier. And he can also play the Haunted Creeper while clearing the board.
So getting a little bit pressure out. That's going to be such an important card.
The
my
Savannah
gosh.
Hymane or the Lotev?
Yeah, Savannah Hymane. Uh-oh.
Deathwing.
Are we going to see Deathwing this game?
That is an expensive hand. 3 legendaries and an epic.
Well paid.
Pay to win confirmed. All right, Sylvanas or Cairn. He chose to go with Sylvanas over the Cairn. And, you know, Sylvanas will trigger after that Death Rattle, the second Death Rattle.
Yeah, I think you just got to give him the token here.
Yeah, I think you're not really caring about taking that 1/1. In that respect, do you feel like Reynad should have went with Cairn, or do you think the Sylvanas was the fine play?
I think Sylvanas is probably still better. You do have to. I mean, you do force your opponent to have that range of answers. Wow, Sludge Belcher's not bad. I imagine this Faceless Manipulator is going to be coming down this turn. That's the perfect Faceless target, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing better might be your own Cairn, but like Savannah Hymane is like super Cairn in a way.
Yeah. What he's thinking about is if his opponent has a Starving Buzzard here, is the card draw going to snowball out of control? Because if your opponent, like say your opponent plays Starving Buzzard here and attacks with Savannah Highmane into your faceless Savannah Highmane, he's going to draw 2 cards. And then say he draws Unleash the Hounds after that. And then he draws 2 more cards. And then suddenly they've picked up a lot of cards. Yeah, it's like it's one of these spots that can snowball out of control. So that's something he's definitely considering right now.
At the same time, though, if he doesn't have it, this is a way to kind of control back and put it back in your favor with the card quality he has in his hand. So he's going to go for it, and Tides is going to have to respond. Oh my goodness!
Oh, jeez, that is a huge draw right now. My gosh, that is easily the best draw in the deck at the moment.
Do you play the Hyena
my
as well to
gosh.
pick up the instant 4/3?
I think you got to play it.
Okay.
Because if nothing else, you just want more information too.
All right, so Tides will have the opportunity to trade with the Savannah Highmane and draw 2 cards because it does summon the 2 beasts. Tides is hesitating for a long time. You know, these things don't exactly take the shortest amount of time with the animations. He's going to forego it and go for a Highmane play, then load that so that way he can set up for a lethal play, potentially.
I don't understand this at all. This is the perfect turn.
I mean, it's tempting, but this is a play to win the game. Lotheb is really difficult to kind of deal with. How does Reynad actually defend this? He has to use his Sludge Belcher, but if he had removal spells only, then this was a move for Tides to just close it out.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. I mean, you can play a 4/3 and then pick up at least 3 more cards. Like, what are you waiting for in that spot? I don't understand. Like, there's no, like now you're just going to draw a lot less cards. Your opponent can just suicide their Highmane into your 5/5, and then you can't activate your Highmane after that. I think this is just. I think he's getting a little bit fancy here, and it's not going to pay off for him.
Okay, well, let's see what he draws on the Starving Buzzard. Maybe Unleash can bail him out.
Oh!
And he gets to Unleash the Hounds. Okay, so, you know, I think
gosh!
there's no time to be creative. The Unleash the Hounds is absolutely the best draws that he had. And Tides picks up a second Savannah Highmane in the process. Holy mackerel. And a Direwolf Alpha. Why not?
Oh my gosh.
Interestingly enough, this is going to open him up to the BGH to deal with the Savannah Highmane. But I think the job's been done.
This is a pretty big swing in the game.
Holy snap.
And that's it's a big old scavenging hyena on the other side of the board, plus a buzzard, plus a Savannah Highmane.
Ah, he's 1 mana off the death wing.
I think outside of that Unleashed draw that Tides is facing down, a really, really bad couple of turns.
Whoop, Shield Slam.
Oh,
shield,
it still
shield slam.
could not. Yeah.
He also has a BGH as well to kind of control things. You can aim it at the Hyena or you can aim it at the Highmane. But either way, tough decisions, because then he kind of leaves the Buzzard, which allows his opponent to draw more.
Right.
And Reynad still has not even paired together a potential win condition.
This is tough.
Here.
Because if you're going to Deathwing, you want the Deathwing to not leave 2 tokens on the board, because then you're going to be vulnerable to things like Hunter's Mark. Last thing you want to happen is Hunter's Mark taking down a Deathwing.
Well, I think I think the BGH and the Shield Slam has to kind of come out to some extent. He has lethal on the board. You have to kind of be able to address it. The only problem is, how to try to figure out a way to come back from this, because things like Karen might get stranded in his hand as well.
You really want to kill this Buzzard, but then he's thinking about how likely is it his opponent just has another Buzzard in his hand too. This is a really tough turn. BGH is coming out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a matter of where the Shield Slam goes. So I think this is his best move, even though it gives his opponent 2 cards. Something that there is to think about is if one of the ways that Warrior can actually win this matchup is just by running your opponent out of cards.
Well, he did draw the Timberwolf and a kill command, so if I'm not mistaken, that should be the way to end the game. I think Tides might have enough damage here.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm counting 17.
Let's see. Let's see if he attacks into this. This is quite the puzzle.
Okay, so he can attack the Buzzard in. He can play Stone Tusk Spore and draw a card.
I mean, he can do this to.
There's a lot of different ways to do this.
Sure. Okay. Attack into it. Get
Oh,
that.
that's
Get the
okay.
8 damage. The kill command. Timberwolf.
Shift over one way. Yeah.
Sure.
This is 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yep, this is
Yep.
this is
got
two.
both
This is a
and
little
the
bit
kill
over.
command
This is
right
about
there.
2 over. Yep.
Well, he's got him covered, and he's going to jump out to a 2-0 lead. You know, I thought that Timberwolf was enough to buff things across because the +2 damage. Reynad realizes that he's down for, and he's going to have to go to his last. Find out if Reynad's going to be able to win this mirror, but he also has to take down 2 really intimidating decks, and the Druid and Rogue, which has kind of been claiming number 1 and 2 spots, no matter how you kind of look at it in terms of tournament play.
Ooh.
Interesting opening. Is this the Clash Challenge for next Rammus or something?
3 web spinners right off the bat. What if the web spinner just continued to draw web spinner every single? I wonder what the odds that are.
It's got to
guess
be
it's
low.
Just number of beasts versus.
It's got to be
dying,
in like the 0.05% range. It might it's got to be because there's dozens of beasts in Hearthstone. It's got to be like 20 or so beasts, isn't there?
The rod spinners.
To draw all 3 to draw web spinners.
Ooh, Scavenging Hyena's a good draw. So web spinners get matched, and then he leads out with a 4-3.
Huh. And you know these opening turns are so important. So that way you're able to kind of set the tempo and be able to kind of address. In the 100 mirrors for a long time, it was all about making sure you had that initial 1-drop. So that way you kind of force your opponent to respond. But that's where things like Haunted Creeper really pull some heavy weight.
Yep. This is actually pretty heads up, too. It prevents the Scavenging Hyena from being a big possibility here. Like, if he had played his own web spinner and saved his coin, his opponent could have a Scavenging Hyena here and really just break the game wide open. That's something he wanted to avoid.
These guys know each other's decks, so they're trying to just
Wow.
play around that possibility. My ex,
Extra.
and Golden my ex too. Well, she's ready for action. A second web spinner. You know, this game has potential to be epic lulls.
This might be crazy.
Not bad. I mean, I just want all legendaries from this point on for every single web spinner. That's my hope and dream.
Wow. Do you take Unleash or do you take Savannah Hyman?
Both
Oh my
have
gosh.
merits. For
I think
sure.
that you already. I think since you have Lotheb in 6, that Unleash and Kill Command are your 2 choices. I think there's a little bit of merits of Kill Command here too, but I don't know how hard you're going to be making a push for lethal. I think at this point you're trying to fight for card advantage still.
I just realized that if Tides for some reason spins like another Kodo, my ex is gonna get owned so hard. God, my ex. I want to just Reynad. I mean, at that point, you can't even fault him if he just concedes. If that's the case, right? You can't just be mad at that.
Just concedes.
All right.
Yes.
Well,
Just why not, right? I mean, sometimes you gotta look. Playing Hearthstone isn't about winning; it's about sending a message, and sometimes
Sure.
that message is that you just have to concede. 8
Boom.
points of damage, though. Scavenging Hyena, extremely powerful.
I mean,
seems like a lot of people. It felt like a lot of people would actually cut this, and I was curious why. Because these sorts of situations are like where it shines. Like that's a big damage lead to be getting, and sure, Tides has a way to counter it, but it's like the damage lead does make a difference in this game.
Oh, certainly, because then it forces you to play really uncomfortably because you might have to account for lethal and you might have to do something that's unoptimal. Wait! Oh my God! He got the beast.
Oh my gosh,
He has the beast.
that's the beast to get. Is the beast? That's beastly.
There's nothing. You know what he's gonna get off this second web spinner? He's gonna get a Tundra Rhino, and that Tundra Rhino is gonna give that beast charge.
This game is crazy. Wave Spinner is too cool. God, I love this card.
An amazing card.
Reynad's hand, by the way, has gotten a little bit not so good. He needs those spiders to actually be beasts right now. Haunted Creeper does not make beasts.
My ex, sorry, not my ex though. Lothab is actually gonna get him blown out because if opponent plays Savannah Highmane, he's in big trouble.
Well, Lothab also just gets directly traded by a 5/3, but I don't know if he has another reasonable option.
Unleash the Hounds is just way too weak. You don't actually do anything. So
He
Lothab
needs to
is the
draw.
answer.
Yep, he needs to draw Starving Buzzard.
All right. Oh, Tides is on 5 mana. Excuse me. Reynad's the one who went first, so he can't just drop the Savannah Highmane.
Ooh.
You know what he can drop? The second web spinner. I'm ready. My body is ready. Oh yes, baby. This is the kind of RNG that makes Hearthstone a little bit fun, man. I like it.
I like RNG. I don't understand why people hate it so much. I think it's just what makes the game exciting.
Well,
It's
they
like,
love it until they lose to it.
Well, people hate it, and I'm like, man, you ever been to like a casino? It's like they're always packed. Like,
They
people
don't allow
love
14-year-olds generally.
That's true too. I just like random stuff. It's just cool. Like, I don't want the same game to happen over and over again. My Exna in Beast Hunter, what's happening?
You need to give it greetings right after you play my Exna, by the way, because then he counters with the beast and he gives greetings, and obviously this is completely unoptimal play, but imagine the ratings.
Oh my gosh.
At this point, the analysis
Defense
is a little bit
suddenly
difficult
show.
to make because we don't know too much. One thing that is important is that my Exna does synergize with Houndmaster, and then it becomes super Oasis Snapjaw.
Super Oasis Snapjaw.
Yep. It's Oasis Snapjaw went Super Saiyan and kills everything in its path. It's even got golden for the hair. Oh, but the Timberwolf actually does allow it to trade. Okay, let's see what it gets off of this web spinner. Another web spinner.
Web spinner.
The train continues. Speaking of which, this Direwolf Alpha has done so much work.
It has gotten a lot of value this game. It's allowed 2 trades to happen that normally wouldn't have ever happened.
Yeah, the web spinner replaces itself and keeps up
Yep.
to draw while being able to maintain board presence because of its affordability. It does open himself up if Reynad draws another, or draws his first buzzard, that is, and draws more cards. And it is the buzzard, just what the
Oh,
doctor
geez.
ordered. He had tracking just in case.
Does he wait one more turn, though? I don't think he does. I don't think he can afford to.
I think he needs to pick up answers immediately. Another buzzard. And a web spinner. You know what? This is awesome. This is already my favorite game of the tournament.
Do you tracking first?
I don't know, man. This game,
Well,
I
do you
mean,
need-
with the Beast and my Exna coming in, I don't even know what's optimal anymore.
No. Okay, so he picks up an extra card from Web Spinner, and that gives him more information for his tracking.
Ah.
Ooh, interesting
Interesting.
cards. Owl
Yeah.
is actually seems pretty good right here, because your opponent, like you already have a Hunter's Mark. Flare isn't very exciting right now. You know your opponent's got at least one Web Spinner card in their hand, and then 2 other cards that they haven't played yet. So if you had traps, it's like they likely would have come down already anyway.
Sure.
I think Owl is easily the best choice. Another Web
Right.
Spinner draw. What does he get?
Silverback Patriarch, welcome to Hearthstone. Oh my
This
god.
looks just like a really busted arena draft from Tides right now. That's what it looks like.
I mean, what did he have to choose between the Beast and 2 of the legendaries like Millhouse Manastorm and Lore Walker Cho? Pick the Beast.
I think the Beast is great,
Awesome.
man. Have you ever slammed that guy in arena? 9-7? You kidding me?
I have no idea until they just BGH it and you give him a 3-3. Okay, well, now we have the ability to use the Starving Buzzard and the Hunter's Mark with the Hour and Beak Owl. So Reynad can get more cards, more synergy, take down his opponent, draw another Beast off this Web Spinner. And Tides, I would like to say that he has answers, but he also got some interesting questions.
Buzzards are really turning this game around. Yeah, I mean, this is why you took the Owl.
draws a Haunted Creeper.
Get in there.
Do you
web
want to
spinner.
keep drawing before you use your Hunter's Mark?
I don't think you do. I think you want to see what you, because if you draw like what is there any 4-cost beasts that change what you're gonna
Like
play?
a Wasted Snapjaw or something, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, it's almost time to find out what's going to be the next draw of Web Spinner. He's going to take control of this board. He does make himself a little bit more open to an Unleash combo, but I think Reynad's doing what he can. Oh, he gets a River Crocolisk.
That's a dangerous place. You don't want to go down to that river Acropolis. It's a dangerous place.
All right, well, Reynad plays it and draws further and gets his Savannah High main.
Oh yeah, that's a big draw.
Okay. Second kill command. He didn't pick up his own buzzard. And a little bit of a sigh of disappointment.
This has got to be some sort of Unleash turn. As much as you want to wait for Starving Buzzard, I don't know if you can afford to anymore.
He's too low of a life count, too. Kind of have to address it, so for sure. Unleash makes sense.
Now,
You
let me
also
ask you
can
this.
attack, then you're Unleash.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that. Like, how much merit is there to attacking the Haunted Creeper? So that way you can finish it off. But then, like, the Crocolisk is still there?
Guess you have to kill command that, then.
Ugh. That feels
That doesn't
really
feel
brutal.
great either.
You know, the Silverback Patriarch actually does a pretty good job of fending it off.
Here we go. We found the counter to the River Crocolisk.
Silverback Patriarch. Look at that monkey.
All right. Well, Reynad has a couple of really powerful options at his disposal, including Houndmaster / Savannah Highmains and a second Unleash the Hounds.
I mean, his hand is so huge right now. I think this is just a Houndmaster turn, I think. As much as you want to play Savannah Highmain, there's just too much value, I think, in the Houndmaster.
Not to mention that it presents a really important wall that kind of disrupts your opponent. He already just used his weapon, so it's going to be really difficult to push through. Oh, but how about this? Now that he does have a taunter up, can you feel safe enough to drop the Highmain?
I think it's pretty reasonable. The other thing, too, is if he makes a Leok, he can play the Timberwolf to push through, or if he makes a Huffer, the Huffer can attack through. So it makes a lot of sense to be using Animal Companion here first.
All right, Reynad, what's it going to be?
This is tough. This is still really tough because you do want to squeeze in your hero power too. Your opponent's getting down to that dangerous life total.
That is true. But you kind of make it up if the Savannah Highmain lives.
Your opponent also just unleashed, so you know that they don't have Buzzard Unleashed. Like, they're really desperate for something to happen. So I think just pressuring the board right now is the best opportunity you have.
Okay. I mean, you can't really fault him for either. He's loading up the board in similar fashion with power, and he does get to use that hero power for immediate return and pressures opponent. He still represents lethal the following turn as well. Tides needs to kind of pull himself out here.
Oh, gosh. That is an ugly draw right now because you just used Unleash the Hounds.
Like Buzzard and Beast to draw a card.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely not.
That is painful.
And Tides is going to try to stall for as long as he can, but I think he recognizes that this one is slipping away from him.
He just wants this. He wants the Buzzard to have taunt right now.
Whoa. Double Timberwolf. That's 6 extra damage with Unleash. 6 plus the 2. That's not enough to end it right now. But it's enough to clear the board and pave the way for Savannah Highmain and set up an epic finish. And Tides is left to his last card. I think he should play the Bees and then concede if he chooses to do so. For the fans, they want to hear what his battle cry is. No! No, Tides! Alright, well, we're going to game number 4. And Reynad stay up and quit the speculation and go straight into the action. It will be the Miracle Rogue for Tides. It's the best percentage matchup. And Reynad will have to get out of the woods with this Hunter deck and carry him all the way home.
Oh, he's going to mulligan's going to pan out. Backstab, I think, is really crucial in this matchup, as well as SI7 Agent. Those cards are probably more important than Gadgets and Auctioneer is, honestly.
Reynad thinking about tossing back everything as well. He ends up going for it. Backstab and SI7 when you're not on the coin. Whoa! 2 web spinners as well. By the way, I did get a message from one of my friends. Heyoka from Team Liquid, who did say that web spinner chance to draw web spinner is about 3%. But to happen twice in a row is basically exponential of that percentage as well. So it can happen. It's not out of the window of possibility.
All right, so we've seen a novice engineer now, which is something that you don't typically see. And I guess the only real debate this game is whether or not you play novice engineer or whether or not you use dagger.
Emperor Cobra.
Is that just actually? Oh, that's what he drew from the. I was like, wait a minute, is that just actually in the deck?
No, I
what he
don't
showed
think
the
it's
web
exactly what he would. I mean,
We've seen Gara play it.
Yeah, he experimented with it in his Druid deck.
This card's cool. God, I love web spinner. I'm gonna have to play some web spinner games today.
It certainly is really fun. You know, how confident do you feel like being able to plan something like Houndmaster as well in the following turns? You really hope he's not Phantom Knives.
Look at this. He's actually just playing stuff down to start pressuring his opponent. He wants to get Houndmaster active next turn.
Yep. Well, Tides is going to play his Novice Engineer and just kind of play it pretty slowly.
Yeah, he should be attacking the board first. He doesn't want to give his opponent any more information than he wants to.
Sure, the Web Spinner might change his play.
Right. He picks up an Auctioneer too. There's also a Lotheb in Reynad's hand. This game could get crazy. What do you think of just like, is there any merit to using Backstab SI that turn, or do you just need to hold it?
On Web Spinners, and I mean, only if you want to pressure the Hunter back and put the
Yeah.
SI7 agent. I don't think the 1 damage represents too much. Now I
just
think there's
sort of
definitely legitimacy to this.
It's sort of a weird spot because when your opponent plays the Stone Tuskboar and just attacks you, it's such a big telegraph that they have, I think, Houndmaster in their hand. Like they want to get it active, right?
Mhm.
Oh, look at this! He's actually going to Shadow Step. I'm
Okay.
surprised by that.
Well, he wants to use a Shadow Step to reduce the damage.
Wow,
I mean,
that's-
he has Lotheb, he has Gadget Sand.
he's just
Maybe
using
he
Shadow
has
Step
the ability
to
to
damage
pass.
spell.
Yeah. Tundra Rhino for Reynad.
Oh, geez. He's on 4 mana though. This is a rough turn.
It is pretty awkward, but he can drop something like an Emperor Cobra just to kind of stall for time. Unleash the Hounds isn't exactly the most valuable card just because it's very rare for Miracle Rogue to build the board, but there are instances of it. Houndmaster, of course, great, but if you get sapped, your minion, you essentially lose the battle cry, and you're just putting a 4/3 minion on the board that's easily
Yeah.
destroyed by something like Blade Flurry or Deadly Poison charge straight up.
I want to say you take the Houndmaster, but it's so poor here. Your hand's already heavy. I don't know if you
rare
even
that you're going to
need-
be able to follow up with the
Yeah.
Houndmaster.
I don't even know if you need to try to get value out of it. Emperor Cobra is actually pretty good here, though.
Well, it's going to draw some heat. Preparation off the top for Tides.
This has got to be a Gadget Sand Auctioneer turn. I think you just draw your couple of cards, keep pressure on the board, and start pressuring your opponent. And then you have Lotheb to follow up. You're going to see at least 2 extra cards.
You like expending the sap here, when it can be one of your tickets to just win the game if your opponent drops a heavy minion.
I like it simply just because he wants... Like, I feel like you just want to dig into your deck at this point. You're not fighting so much of like a combo matchup here as you are just kind of fighting just for a little bit of board presence so you can keep pressuring your opponent. That's really all you have to do. If you keep their board disrupted, it's hard for them to do anything. And I don't think you want to sacrifice your 3/3. I'd much rather have the 3 damage and have his Emperor Cobra still be in his hand. Okay, so when he does it this way, he wants his opponent to invest in a big minion. But gosh, I don't like it.
I think it's personally fine. I like the ability, because plus you might pick up an extra mana for something like Conceal. And Lotheb still represents the 5/5, so you're able to kind of sneak in some damage and improve board presence anyways. I can live with it. Reynad picks up an Animal Companion, which he can't drop whatsoever, so he's going to respond with his own Lotheb, which is going to make it very difficult for the Gadget Stand to go off.
Yeah, that's bad news. Ooh, he's going for the dome.
All right, Tides.
Wow.
That might bite him in the butt, depending on how these panned out.
He does have to figure out a way to put together enough damage, too.
That is true, and he's ready to use a Shadow Step. Okay, let's see what Reynad gets out of this out of this animal companion. He gets a Leok. Huh.
If he double rolls Leox.
Oh, man.
Now that he's got the Leok, though, there is some merit to using Unleash the Hounds instead.
Right, you can clear the board this way.
Yep.
Unleash the Hounds ideally can synergize with something like Scavenging Hyena, but I also think it's a little bit optimistic.
I probably would still hang on to it at this point. Like, I just feel like a second animal companion's good.
Well, hopefully it's not Leok. Alright, well, it is a Misha. Hopefully he was trying to roll for, like, the Huffer so that way he can get for the easy trade and clear the board. Reynad a little bit upset about that one.
Huffer would have been a big roll right there.
Well, considering what's in the hand of TidesofTime, because he does have Eviscerate.
Geez. That's a pretty good one.
Alright, Leroy off the top
Leroy.
with this preparation draw. That's really important for the upcoming turns.
Do you eviscerate? I don't think you sap the Loth. I don't think you sap the Lotheb. I think you're supposed to eviscerate the Lotheb and then sap over on the Misha, unless he wants to use his Blade Flurry this turn. Which I'm guessing if he's playing it this way, he's using Blade Flurry. I don't know, maybe you do just sap Lotheb. Maybe your board presence is big enough that you just don't care about it. He's
Blade
more
Flurry.
Than
Conceal right off.
Life.
Alright. Oh, well, Reynad just drew the Buzzard. Buzzard Unleash with the Hyena. And that's enough for the full combo. See what he picks up. Hunter's Mark would be immaculate.
Oh gosh, this draw is big.
Mm.
That was he needed a really important card there. Oh my gosh.
Wow. Do you gamble?
What can you do?
Well, he can silence the Auctioneer, decide if he can draw something, and he gets a tracking anyways. Reynad drew through his deck, but he didn't really draw the answers he needs. Now, interestingly enough, the Tundra Rhino might... Oh man, if the spiders that came from the Haunted Creeper, that could have done some crazy work. But you can't actually do that combo. Maybe Reynad can kind of pair something together with something like Tundra Rhino, but for now, he's kind of at the mercy of the opponent. Whoa, Reynad flirting with the idea of conceding. Oh man, that is not a good mindset to be in.
Yeah, that's not the mindset you ever want to be in. I mean, your opponent's drawn a lot of cards, and you've gotten to this position, but you know that's part of the risk that's associated with not banning Rogue out from your opponent.
Azure Drake draws the Shiv, so the draws continue. Very important for Tides to be able to continue this momentum. And he also has a Conceal. This could be the end of Reynad's tournament. I think that Conceal might be it.
I don't know if there's anything that gets him out of this one. This is a brutal spot to be in.
Let's see, Reynad has 4. He needs to draw 16 damage of some kind.
He's
well,
way
let's
short.
see what he gets with tracking. Oof.
6. Nope, he's way short.
He was pretty far away from that Timberwolf that he would have liked to have, or something.
You know, if this was his entire hand, would he have it? Let's count that. Like if those
double kill command and Timberwolf.
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. No, it'd still be off. And I mean, he has no way to reach now, but he's lost both of his kill commands at this point.
I don't think there's any way out. There's no way to taunt. There's no way to kind of utilize this Tundra Rhino. There's no way to buff the Hyena. So I think this is the end of the road for Reynad, and Tides will move on and await somebody for the top 4 place.
Yeah, no further way to draw cards. It's done at this point.
Now, granted,
Tides, I mean, I guess he could there could be an earthquake where he lives. That could stop the game, right?
But Tides also lives half an hour from Reynad, so if there's an earthquake on his side, Reynad's going to experience that as well.
Ooh.
Wait, hold on.
No, this is still way short.
Still a lot of damage, and at least he made it competitive as much as he could, putting him down to 5 health. And he had that kill command and extra mana. Unfortunately for Reynad, Tides will be moving on. I guess you could live in spirit through the Tempo Storm banner, but Tides will end up advancing. And, the Lotheb doing work. And Reynad once again forfeiting before he letting his opponent have the